So yeah, this week, if you guys want to bail out now on the show.
So yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, good show. I mean, it's great. So it's yeah, we definitely.
That was
Guys,
great.
we're actually being honest. We struggled to find books that we got super excited about. Now, there's some fun covers, maybe, but yeah, you'll see when we go through it. But this is the fifth Wednesday. Anytime there's a fifth Wednesday, there's usually a lag in books. But also, I read and I read this a while ago, so I don't know how true it was. Marvel like delayed some of their books, so everything's sort of wonky as far as how things are being put out and everything. But there were not that many DC books. There were not that many Marvel books. Um, there was a lot of indie, but it was like 15 copies of Zenoscope or Ahoy or like stuff that we rarely ever mentioned.
Right.
But Joe, you said you hit the shop. What was the best
Yeah.
book you picked up?
Shaolin Cowboy.
I should know.
You should know. Yeah, I got that. I got the new Detective Comics. It's still good. Like it feels. I mean, it's Albuquerque, Raphael Albuquerque, so can't really go wrong. And Ram V's writing it, so that's two good things.
Yeah.
The backup stories, Danny, I like her.
Yeah.
And then I got suckered in and bought that Detective 27 facsimile for $7. I opened it. I shouldn't have opened it, but I opened it and there was a pink cowboy. And I was like, oh, what is this? And then I kept going and it was like Dr. Fu Manchu. And I showed my wife and she was like, are they in trouble for printing this? And I was like, oh, he's yellow. He's actually yellow. Oh my God. And like, it looks like that yellow bastard from Sin City, you know? And I was like, oh.
So Comic Crazy?
Crazy?
Double O?
Double O? Yeah, so I didn't break the bank, but I'm still hitting up the shop every week while you're not.
I'm the new comic book guy, and I haven't hit the shop to buy new books in like a month.
Yeah,
but I have been suckered into Whatnot, guys, and I'm actually in the process of bagging and boarding, really crazy. And I have to show you, Joe. This is one stupid forgotten Spider-Man book. But if you're talking Spider-Man Fever, there's a 3-issue thing where it's like Dream World, just screwy psycho colors.
I've looked at that and thought
it's almost good, but it's
that's
not.
Weird.
But yeah, so I got a bunch of just random Spider-Man books from a lot off of Whatnot. I just like doing it. I'm a sucker for that type of stuff.
I will not go down that path.
Do not. Now, here's an early Scotty Young. If you're before the babies, this is Scotty Young doing Spider-Man.
Nice.
It's a worthless cover, but I like it. But yeah, guys, let's jump in. Let's look at this week. It'll probably be a short show because we really struggled to find some books that we were excited about. You might actually be looking at them all right here on this slide.
That might be it.
So we'll talk about each of those. The homage covers. This is probably my favorite Harley homage that they've done so far. I do love this one because I love the Jim Lee original one of that. This is our only slide that is dedicated to books, like one book, but it's actually dedicated to 3 second print versions of The Dark Crisis that I didn't know people were reading. I definitely didn't know there was enough for second prints. But these are the 1 for 25 foil incentive covers, and they made them look like Infinite Crisis, and it's the difference between this and the. So, but it's the homage lover in me sort of likes these. But I haven't read any of these books. I'm so sick of these crisis stories that.
I mean, I haven't even read any of that stuff from the 80s, but I'm still like, oh man, I love that old school trade dress.
Yeah. that's what I was like. I like the trade dress. We're going to throw it up there on slide. But yeah.
I mean, this is maybe going to sound bad, but they all also kind of have a retro feel.
Yeah.
Like they're already pushing that like 90s superhero to the like max. So, I bet when they're really foily, really hit it right there. Boom.
All right. So there it is, guys. That's the one book, sort of book. Now we're just going to look at some covers. Deathstroke Incorporated at number 12. I do dig this. Is Avant Ivan Tao become DC's new go-to person for covers, it seems like. But usually his covers have like elongated like arms and legs somehow, like the ones we've looked at,
Oh, I
or
see what you're saying.
hollowed
Yeah.
eyes. I mean, Deathstroke's
The,
freaking around a motorcycle. Joe,
yeah.
you had ambitions at one point of being a motorcycle person.
Yeah, I mean, I had one there for a while. It was hard to keep it running, man. I'm not. I wanted to be a motorcycle guy, but not a mechanic. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's a little oversaturated with red, if you ask me. But
Yeah.
You know, that's
for
fine.
Tao. That's so different because usually his are all, to me, it's always like a white or a gray in his covers. So, but yeah, I see that. I do like the sword. The way.
Yeah, the whole perspective thing is really wild.
Yeah. Then you got the Harley Quinn homage here. I love. Joe, do you have a copy of the second print, Batman, 608?
Yeah.
I
have like 5 copies of that book. I have the Walmart crappy one. I have the real one. I have this. I have them all.
But yeah, I love this one. Of course, then you had the matching Superman one. That's sort of fun to have. That's worth.
I have that too somewhere.
And then you get Nightmare Country. Haven't been reading this. Have you been reading this?
No.
But there's a psycho cover for every one of these issues.
Yeah. I did watch the show. Did we talk about that last week?
Briefly, I have not seen it. Did you enjoy it?
Okay. Yeah, pretty good. I haven't watched the newest episode because they dropped like an extra one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I watched them all. I didn't expect to.
Yeah.
In like 3 days, so I must have been into it.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. It's one of those weird shows, like so. But actually, I've heard mostly good things. Like She-Hulk, I'll watch episode 1. Have not watched the second episode yet. I've heard it's a weird show where either people love it or they hate it.
Right.
Or and then some people, I mean, they've given up hoping that Marvel solves the world's problems, which is probably good.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd say that's probably good. I heard there is a Wolverine.
Yes, I've heard that. I have not seen it yet.
Like Easter egg, so that's cool. That's the only thing I'm excited about with She-Hulk.
So, yeah, Double O's coming in. Always gotta get my mouse to come over. With I have not read Overture yet. In fact, like Joe, I didn't even read. I'm definitely not a Sandman aficionado. I read the first 2 arcs. But it was
that's better than me. I've read a few things here and there that I've picked up. Mostly like one shot type stuff, that I could find that I'd be like, oh, I can read this book and then be done. Cool. But one of my favorite comics of all time is Sandman 74. It's
which is the second to last issue, isn't it?
Yeah, it's John M. Muth. Who's like he did Zen shorts and Stone Soup, and he's a children's illustrator.
Yeah,
but he's a painter, and I love that book. He used Morgan Freeman as one of his, as one of the characters. So like you open it up and you're like, is that Morgan Freeman? Yes, it is. Yeah. So I know very little about the Sandman, but I really, really got into the show. It was good. And I love the way he looks.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Random covers. We had to find some. The Superman World War Apocalypse. If I cared more about Superman, I'd be excited. I do like the old school look of this. Yeah. It just reminds me of the cheesy 80 movies that we used to watch on Fox in the afternoons.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is the VHS cover for this comic. That's pretty cool.
And it's not an incentive. So it's not like, I got to pay $20 to get this book. It's just a C cover. I do sort of like that. This Wonder Woman cover is not bad. It's by Scott Forbes, who every once in a while I find myself liking one of his covers. He has a great couple of silk covers I really like. I could see this one being something. I don't know anything about the book. Right. But just look at the number of different Wonder Girls or whatever, or Amazonians, or it'd be just sort of interesting to see. And then we like pink, so and covers. Yeah. It's a good looking cover. It's the incentive for Dungeons and Dragons Ravenloft.
Dungeons and Dragons made it again. What in the world? Kind of where are we living?
I almost bought a Dungeons and Dragon book the other day, and I was like, "What am I thinking?" I have never played the game. I have maybe because Christopher Pine just convinced me that the movie is going to be amazing. So
I don't think so.
okay, he didn't.
I don't think he convinced you of that.
Then we go into my favorite series. I've read the first. Actually, I've read them all so far. Last Spot Standing. It's just I can't believe I'm
enjoying it. Not enjoying.
I'm gonna complete it. It's just one of those like I have no history with Transformers to say I enjoy it.
Right. Okay.
But it's a fascinating story. I appreciate the fact that it comes out every month.
I got that. I hear that. Okay.
We got some knowledge here about that Wonder Girl. So it's supposed to be on a different issue before the title was canceled. Oh yeah, I remember they canceled it. It was a beautiful decal cover. It was like the last cover. But so they're still saving it. I never quite figure out what DC's doing. If anyone actually knows what DC's doing, that'd be great.
Yeah. Well, I know they did that. They did that to a Mitch Gerard's cover too. He was like, I guess this one will never see the light of day. And then they threw it like in something, and he on Instagram he was like, "Hey, they used it." So,
well, I know it happened with the Predator issues for a lot of people because they made them last year, and it took 6 months before they decided to do the Predator stuff. So now they're finally getting released, and artists are going, "Oh yeah, I remember doing that."
awesome.
So, because they even released like 5 of the images, and then it took 6 months for the issues. So the issues they were supposed to be on are not the issues they appeared on.
Gotcha.
Yep. Moon Knight in Black and White and Blood.
I haven't read all these, but I will eventually. And I like the cover. I like the cover A too.
Yeah, they're decent. Like I struggle. I'm just struggling spending my money on new books that I know are not going to be, like long-term holds. Like if I can find them in used back bins 4 years from now, great. But it's a weird hobby for me right now. That's just where I am now. In 2 weeks or 2 months, who knows? I might go in and spend $50 or $100 on brand new comics because I love. I mean, shoot, was it Miles Morales 38? I bought like 15 copies of it, so it hasn't been that long since I was doing new books.
Yeah.
Everyone goes through cycles. This is Marvel Tales Thunderbolts, but this is the 1 for 50 Virgin cover of it. Occasionally, I've picked up those Marvel Tales. It's sort of cool to just like anything. These are the 3 issues they consider the most important, all wrapped up into one thing.
Right.
So I didn't really pay attention. It looks like it's probably issue 1, probably the Hulk issue as well.
Yeah, I looked at the solicitation because I was like, what am I looking at here? Because first of all, I was intrigued because it said Marvel Tales.
Yeah.
But didn't say Marvel Tales on the cover that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought, well, that might be bring that back. That's fine. Like, you know, the suckers will walk in and buy a facsimile. Those idiots do that stuff. But yeah, I don't know anything about Thunderbolts, but I guess there's a new Thunderbolts team.
Well, I mean, they announced them being a movie in a couple of years. So they got a new Thunderbolts team that has Hawkeye, and actually it came out this week. I don't have the image that I probably should have pulled. It's actually a decent. If you go to the article, I have it in there. But it's like We Want You.
Yeah,
the old Uncle Sam thing with Hawkeye on the cover, and it's like spray painted on there or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's books that you're actually looking at, not the ones we're just talking about randomly.
Right. Variants.
The variants. Phil Noto is an underappreciated artist. His stuff never gets the love that he should. People usually like it, but people don't collect it, I guess. Or
yeah, I used to. You know, I used to. Every time we'd see one in that quarter box that we would hit up, man, I'd grab if it was Phil Noto. Yoink. Yeah, he's so clean. He's got some Adam Hughes vibes, you know, and
yeah, Double O. You're with me. I'm glad someone's with me here.
Yeah, that's the thing that freaked me out. After I bought it, I looked some up and I was like, oh, maybe I didn't lose all my money. Maybe this facsimile thing is okay. And Paige my beautiful wife was asking me about it. And I was like, well, I guess I would never see the inside of this book ever anywhere. Yeah. Except like through a screen or through glass. So it's pretty cool that I can open Detective 27 and be like, what are the other 8 stories in this book? Anyway, is that Spider-Man?
Yes, it's an X-Men book. I usually don't like to show the themed on random thing, but this is John Romita doing Spider-Man.
That's John Romita?
Yeah, you know
Are
the
you
guy
sure?
I despise right now ruining my favorite book, and I used to love his art.
Yeah.
This is John Romita, JR Jr. This maybe is an old image they just pulled for this cover, but
It's
it's
pretty great.
okay. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, it's pretty great.
I really like it. Yeah, they're doing this Beyond Amazing because I guess there's some anniversary coming up. There's Amazing Spider-Man 1000 came out this week, or comes out next week or whatever. I get so confused.
Amazing Fantasy.
Yes, that was Amazing Fantasy 1000.
Yeah.
I get so confused because I was like,
Yeah.
they just did 900. Now they're at 1000. Oh, Amazing Fantasy. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know how that numbering worked.
I think they just make it up according to when they want to do a legacy issue or not.
Man, I wanted to ask you about that because I was like, how did they? I haven't seen a whole lot of Amazing Fantasy comics lately.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure maybe one of the guys in the chat will tell us how that happens.
They had to have combined all 900 Amazing Spider-Mans with the 3 different times. So if you take Amazing Fantasy 15, 1 through 15 original, then they had Amazing Fantasy 16, 17, 18, that they had little Spider-Man books. Then they had Amazing Fantasy that Amadeus Cho and Scorpion and all appeared in. That went through like 22 or 23. And then they had
so that's 1,000 right there. That's 40.
Corey Andrews did the 5-issue thing that we actually really like.
Yeah,
so
I haven't
maybe
read
they're
that
combining
yet,
that. None of them have any connective tissues to them, but
cool.
Yeah. And then, guys, this is Cradle of Filth. This is the 1 for 10 Castlevania homage opus. I don't understand. I'm not into the musicians getting to do comics. I haven't read any of them, so I don't really know anything. But I do know there are fans of Castlevania. Joe, I think we both used to play this game. Didn't you? This is one of the few games I owned back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't been a gamer since 1992. So, yeah, this was in the Nintendo, right?
Yeah. So homages do carry weight sometimes. And guys, now we're into indies. That's how little we could find. And these are indie books that we haven't read any of, but we do like the covers. So strictly, we're showing you some indie covers that we liked.
Yeah.
West of Sundown has had some sweet looking covers.
And this one's Aaron Campbell, who we keep talking about.
Yeah.
I really like that Suicide Squad thing he did a couple months ago.
Blaze.
The black label. The artwork in it alone is to buy it, but it's pretty good story too. I enjoyed it. So I'm maybe going to go back and pick up his Constantine run and a couple other things that I like kind of overlooked at the time. I wasn't doing a podcast with one of my old buddies.
Double O, I don't know if I ever beat the game. I wasn't one of those kids that would sit and play that game because if you died, you went all the way back to start, or like at least to the start of a level. It was not one of those where you had certain. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, there was no ABBA on that one, man.
Up down, left right.
Contra might be the only video game I ever beat because there was that cheat that was like easy, you know.
Okay, Joe, you said grab this book just strictly because of the cover alone.
Right. I haven't looked at the breakout thing. I remember the solicitation for the first one did sound intriguing, but not enough for me to pick up the book when I opened it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But of all the covers this week, that was my favorite one. It's lots of negative space, something that we always gravitate to. It's very graphic. There's no airbrush. Like silhouettes sell, you know, like, I don't know. There's that big giant eye. There's so many like elements that, and it's our boy Fornes that we really like. So yeah, colors are good. It's got this like retro feel to it. It makes me kind of want to look at this book again. And that, you know, that means they're doing their job.
Yeah.
So
speaking of retro, here's an old Frazetta painting that they grabbed for this cover. I do appreciate, usually they end up going with the same guy on the horse or guy with the axe or guy with the sword for the Death Dealer cover. So it is sort of nice to see the wolves and the girl and everything. It feels like it should be on a Red Sonja cover or something.
Right.
But
yeah, I don't know my Frazetta lore.
Yeah. It's almost like I can't tell you if this was pulled off of a fantasy novel or just it was a fantasy painting that he did.
Yeah.
Because you can go to he did a bunch of the Edgar Rice Burroughs covers for the pulp from the 60s and 70s or whatever. But yeah, so there's Death Dealer, and then
is that number 4, 3 or 4?
Sure. I've been reading it. So I could actually probably be right here on the next slide here. But yeah, guys, this one right here that we're looking at is Harley Quinn, the animated series, Real Sidekicks of New Gotham Special One Shot number 1. This is the one for 25. It's okay. It's nothing great. Yeah, it was hard, guys, finding books this week. Like there are some incentives, but if you look at the list, there isn't a ton. This is Robin. Still like. I'm looking through the list going, did I miss one? And I don't know if I did. I do actually like it. I hate to admit it, I like this Fortnite cover. It's probably because it's Bartel. I do like it's She-Hulk, Bartel. It's an incentive. There could be something to this. I think it's a 1 for 50. So there's potential there. These are quick flip books. I wouldn't quick flip a 1 for 50 unless you got it for super cheap. Because the kids that want these books, the gamers that want it, they want it for the code. They want to build the skin as fast as possible. So they're trying to buy them as fast. They have yet to figure out how to pre-order a book, so that they'd send their moms to the store to buy them, and the store only buys 20 copies, or because they know they can mark them up if they buy 25.
Have you seen the moms at the shop? I have too, man, and it cracks me up. They're like, well, I need the Fortnite one.
Yeah, and when you see
the people that work at the shop are like, yeah, they're over here, ma'am. It's pretty awesome. It got them in the shop.
Yeah. A very good point, though. Like, this is probably the only cover I've seen that didn't have one Fortnite cover on it, or Fortnite character. Mm-hmm. Not that I know, but it's like, hey, wait, that's just She-Hulk. Maybe the tank is a Fortnite tank, maybe?
Oh.
It has a weird tread to it. So, but yeah. As you can see, oh man, I even left off Death Dealer. I'm not even sure if Death Dealer even had an incentive. The Cradle of Filth did the video game homage, and I think there's a 1. And then Scout has maybe a 1 for 25 for this Forever Forward.
That Forever Forward first, the A cover looks pretty good. It's Jacob Phillips, I think. It feels painted.
Yeah. And 00, yeah, I've seen shops that I appreciate shops that I identify a hot book and they put it. It's annoying if you're a flipper, but I actually appreciate it more if they pull it and they set it behind and go, I'm going to give my regulars a chance. So like I've seen that when Batman 89 came out, that's one of the things that I saw a shop do that I was like, oh, you care about people that actually want to buy books and not want to flip books. So they pull all the hot books and put it behind the counter. And if you ask, they'll give it to you, 1 copy, but they're not going to put them on the shelf. So, and now sometimes it backfires because it's not as hot as they think it is. but yeah, guys, that is it. There were like I said, it was a very light week for us. I mean, sometimes we definitely appreciate our pocketbooks. Joe's like, I don't have to go to the store unless I really want to.
Yeah,
it is sort of nice. I did buy books this week, but I did Whatnot auctions. I also did Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if you guys have ever done those. I scored some. If you go to my Instagram, you can see my score. I scored a bunch of X-Men books for $2 a piece. They were $2. Now, granted, a few of them were in rough condition, but I was like, I'm getting X-Men 142 for $2. I'm getting X-Men Annual 14 First Gambit, $2. Yeah, can't argue with that. So those are rare. I've had that happen twice in like 4 years of looking on Facebook Marketplace to find real deals. But it's occasionally you can find those in your area. But Joe, you got anything you want to say?
No. Here's the sketch. It is called Comics and Sketches. So there's what I drew today. Well, in our 20 minutes of me ranting about not what's on the screen.
So as always, guys, leave us comments, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting 00 in comics. Thanks for popping in. See you guys.
See ya.